Hello and welcome to The Point. My name is Chris. I'm one of the pastors here at Journey Church, and I'm so excited you decided to jump into The Point today. The Point is all about talking about how we humbly point everyone to absolute hope. And today, we're kind of starting a series that we'll be doing, going forward a little bit. Maybe not every week, but every once in a while, we'll toss one of these guys in here, where we're talking about how we can use our social media for good. How do we do social for good? And we want to give you simple ways that you, a normal person, can use your social media to impact others, to encourage them, and to uplift them just as they're scrolling through their different feeds. And if you're involved in social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, you probably already know this, but it's complicated. Social media is complicated. And so what we want to do is put simple steps in your hands to not engage in the polarization that's happening there, to know where we're feeding to the fire of these people versus these people. It's not about sharing your opinion necessarily, because maybe you're not comfortable with that, of trying to maybe just putting up a post to start an argument. You've got friends like that, I'm sure. We're not talking about doing any of those things. Our hope is to give you some simple, practical things that you can use on your social media accounts to encourage others. And now maybe you don't feel qualified. Maybe you don't feel like, I don't know if I can do something like that. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a leader in the church or something, or I'm not even an influencer. Like, I'm not a social media influencer. And the good news is none of that matters. If we look into the Bible, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And if we have put our faith in Jesus Christ, then we are those who are called by Christ to reach the world for him. So, the whole point of this is to give you simple ways that you can use your social media for good. So let's talk about idea number one. Idea number one is a very simple idea. You're going to hear it and you're going to think, that's kind of dumb. I don't think I could do that. Why would I do that? But I'm telling you, if you do this, you will see insane conversation and engagement like you've never seen before. And the idea is to create what we're calling a "How can I pray for you" post. Okay, how can I pray for you? And the simple idea is just that. It's creating a post where the entire purpose is to communicate to those who are your friends, your followers, people who are in your realm of influence on social media. How can I pray for you? You're not saying I'm this almighty person or this whatever. It's simply giving people a point and a place to share, what's on their heart or what God might be working in them or just something they're anxious or nervous or worried about. And so I want to walk you through step by step how you can create these kinds of posts. I'm going to use two platforms, Facebook and Instagram, but you can apply this really anywhere. Any kind of social media platform that you're involved with, you could take this post idea and do that there. But I want to walk you through step by step to see how simple it is to, one, create this post, but two, how easy it is to engage with folks on this post. Because really what you're doing is you're creating an opportunity for those to be vulnerable, to share their thoughts and prayers with you, and then also giving you an opportunity to pray for these people, to be in ministry with these people, to care for them. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's talk practically, how do we make this happen? How do we create a "How can I pray for you" post? Well, there's really three steps, okay? First step is going to be to create the post. We're going to talk about that for Facebook, and I'll also show you on a phone how we can do it maybe for Instagram as well. Step two is going to be to pray for those folks. We'll talk about that. And step three, and this is kind of like the pro level, next level add-on, would be following up. Okay, so we'll talk about each one of those. So first, let's talk about how do we create the post. So here we go. We're talking about it over in Facebook. So in Facebook, you can go, to the top where it says "What's on your mind." Tap into there. And now this is a very simple thing you can do. You really don't have to do anything other than this. You type in, "How can I pray for you?" ? That's it. That's all you have to put there. You can put your own flourish on there, put your personality in here. I think the more people feel like it's coming from you, the more likely they are to respond to it. And you could post it just like this, but what studies show is that the more graphic a post is, the more attention it gets. So come over here and click on this little background function that we can update here. And you can scroll through, you can actually click one of these and see all the different backgrounds that are available for them. And let's say I want to do a nice little green one, right? Boom, that could be it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of my personality to the top. I'm going to say, quick question for y'all. How can I pray for you? And that's it. And I'm going to click post. And I bet I'm actually going to try and show down here below over time how many comments and posts and things like that we get on here. Just so you can see how quick and easy it is for folks to jump in and share their prayer requests. So that's the first thing we can do, is create a post on Facebook. Let's talk about Instagram. All right, so in Instagram, you can actually create your post just by swiping to the left, or I guess swipe right, and it pulls it up. And as you can see my face. But I can click create right there. And this gives us an area where we can actually create a post. So you can tap to type. And as you're tapping here, you can tap the different orientations. You can slide around here for the different fonts that you might want to use. You can just say, how can I pray for you? Maybe you want to jump that down to another line there. Maybe make it bigger. Oh, forgot to add the question mark. Add that there. You can tap this little guy on the top up here to change the colored background. So what's cool about this is you can share this on your story just by clicking your stories in the bottom left corner, or you can click this little download button right here. And now you've downloaded that image, which you can then use, go back to your Instagram story, your main feed, and you can add that image right on your post. So I can click next, put a filter on if I needed to. I can say, quick question. Oh, if I could spell. Question for y'all. Oh. How can I pray for you? Question mark. And if you're using Instagram, you can actually go both ways. Like you could push this to Facebook so it'll post in two places at one time instead of just one. So if you click share, now it's on your feed and you're able to see folks comment and connect with people online. So that's step one, how you create it on Facebook, how you create it on Instagram. All right, step one, create the post, right? We've done that. Facebook, Instagram, doesn't really matter where you do it. Do it where it makes the most sense for you. Step two, and this is the important part, now you follow up and you pray for those people. So as they leave comments, as they like your post, as they kind of engage with you, no matter, depending on where you're at, pray for those requests that come in. Like really just write them down. Like I have a prayer journal that I'll just write those down in, and I'll take time and I'll actually pray over each and every one of them. Pray for the person, for the situation. You might have more details than for another one, and that's okay. If it's just saying, hey, I've got something going on, please pray for me. You can, the Bible tells us that, the Spirit knows what's going on in each individual person. I mean, that leads me to believe that I don't need to know all the details for God to be able to work in their life, right? So we can just pray for folks in the situation that they're in. I do encourage you, like if they give you specific details or information, something like that, then pray specifically for them. I think there's a lot of power, and the Bible tells us this, of speaking and asking specifically, petitioning God for specific things. It's not like a magic genie situation, but I think there is a lot for having enough faith, or having the kind of faith that believes God does specific things, not just ethereal or conceptual prayers of God, make us okay, or whatever that might be, but praying for God to move in specific ways. I think he desires to hear those kinds of prayers from us. So if you take the time to pray specifically towards the request of the people responding, that's what we got to do. That's the next step, is to pray for those people. And finally, we've got step 3. Okay, step 3. Now, you don't have to do this, but I really want to encourage you. And more than that, I want to challenge you to, if you're going to go as far as to put this post up, if you're going to go as far as to pray for these people, then I want to challenge you to see what God might do in your engagement if you were to do step 3, which is to follow up with those people. You don't have to get in their business. You don't have to go too crazy with it. But like maybe a week or so later, you can shoot them a quick message or even reply to the comment, depending on what the prayer request is. You can just say, hey, I was praying for you about this. How are you doing? Are you doing okay? If something happened, if it was about a specific thing, then, bring that up. Ask how that thing is going. Let them know that you're going to continue to pray for them. And just watch what God does in those simple interactions. I think, especially nowadays, we discount how people feel when we make them feel seen. You know, when we show them that they have our attention, or that they matter enough for us to pray about them. And as followers of Christ, like Christ stops for each individual person. Like, he's got the time and attention for even like the child, for the beggar who's going to be on the side of the road. Like, he cares for those individuals. So why wouldn't we? And that kind of follow up, that care that we can provide. Again, you don't need to know the words to say. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to be, super counselor person. You can just listen, and just being willing to care enough for that individual is going to be more than you can understand at this moment. It might mean so much more to them in their moment, because someone cared enough to pray for them and to follow up to see, what God's doing in their life. So that's it. I want you to create the post, pray for those people, and then follow up with those people. Create that "How can I pray for you" post. I'm already looking right now. I've already got a couple comments up there that I'll be following up with people. Take the time to care for these folks, because this is how we can use our social media for good, by adding to, instead of just adding to the noise, we can add to what God wants to do in his kingdom through social media. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be an influencer. You can just be yourself and reach people for Christ. I hope this is helpful for you. If it was helpful, I want you to share this video, please, on from YouTube or from Facebook. Like and subscribe if you'd like to as well, as we put more and more of these out there. I hope you can share this with someone who it might encourage them to take a step today. So take that link, shoot it over to them. We'd love to connect with more and more people to help them see how they can use their social media for good. That's it for today. We hope you have a great week. We love you, and we'll see you next time on The Point.